I'm hanging out with my pal Tommy Rant right here. What's up? Now, I heard a little rumor from Strictly Business, Brandon Beretta, that you snore.
What?
That's what he told me.
First off, if that bus is paying attention to me while I'm sleeping, that ain't strictly business. That's strictly weird.
That's kind of weird, right?
I ain't about that. Where'd you hear that from him? Her?
From him.
Her. Yeah. Listen, Buster. Listen, Chooch. You got my number. You know the time. Slime time.
Careful, Brandon Beretta is really good at suplexing big fat asses, so he might get you back, but you've been losing weight, so.
You look great.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, thank you, Tommy Red and Slimeball Sage over there. I'm hanging out with Naomi Rosenblum, and guess what? You got some great art here. Let everybody know about your art.
We do. So today I have a few of my wrestling pieces and prints, and then obviously, yes, you can see some of them right there. We even got the Rock and Cody print that I just painted. And then we have the actual painting right here, which is awesome because you can see what it looks like in person.
It's very awesome. I mean, when I saw it on Twitter,
Yeah.
well, X, really.
I
was like, man,
Twitter.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You're doing great stuff.
Thank
So where can
you.
everybody get your stuff if they can't come here?
Yeah, so you can get it all on my website. It's just naomirosenblum.com, and I have it all listed there. And if you have any questions, you can always just shoot me a DM, and I'd be happy to help you. So.
All right, awesome. And I just got to ask, what's your favorite food?
Oh my God, my favorite food?
I've been asking everybody.
Okay,
that.
this is crazy, but I love egg salad. I've been on like a big egg salad kick recently, which is random, but
It's good.
I
Good
love a
stuff.
good egg salad.
All right.
Trained me, shown me guidance are on these walls, and it feels bizarre and surreal to be joining.
The hottest guys. He's broke. He's got more bling than my pickup.
Hey, Mondo, what is up, brother?
Jacked in tan, that is, Papa Dick. You gotta get it right. Jacked in tan.
He's an outright kind of guy. But listen, we got Slimeball City.
Timothy is trashy. Dolly, what are you doing? Scream Queens is what I like it, Dark Papa Dick. You don't? Are you scared of the Dark Papa Dick? Scared of
Great. It's great. I can't wait. That Titan has left. Mark my words, Harry. I'm doing great. How are you?
We just talked to O'Shea.
And this is cool, you know. Now I'm not only athlete, but
Very spicy.
You got the dirt.
I'm always making a name for herself and let everybody know all about your merch right now.
I'm gonna try to get through to her. That's my motivation.
Buy 100 of them at 87 cents each. That's $8.07, right? Yeah. Or no?
I wish I could.
Right here, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing fine.
I lost my voice because of a huge choke slam. You'll see that. I'll post it. I'm sorry about that.
Welcome everybody to Beyond the Barricade. I'm your host Papa Denk, and today I have a very special guest. Let me bring to you all the way from New Jersey, the one, the only Shawn Donavan. Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you today?
I am fantastic.
And I'm sure you have the same weather I'm having out here in Long Island, New Jersey.
It's almost cigar weather. We're getting there. So,
oh man, I can't wait till it gets warmer. All right, let's go up against some of the stuff you got going on here.
a lot.
A lot. You got the Halo celebration at Ace Wrestling, and I'm sure that Vince Steele is on your mind tonight as we talk about this.
Yes, he is. The sweetheart of a man, larger than life presence, not just because of, how tall he was and just a big guy, but
right.
The size of his personality was larger than anything. Just a sweetheart of a man, and it'll be a very somber event on Saturday. It'll be a nice tribute for him, as well as Mike Morgan Jr. Yeah, it's such a tragic situation, but my thoughts and prayers and all of our industry, their thoughts and prayers are with Vince and his family. So, sad to always lose a good brother. And when I say good brother, there aren't that many of those in our industry, but he truly was a good brother. So it'll be a very heartwarming event for all of us to pay tribute to him.
100%. At the first Ace show I went to, that was the first time I actually saw Vince Steele, and he was so nice.
Yes, he was.
So, All right. All right, we got. I'm sorry.
Same night. Same night.
Same night, man. You're doing double duty, huh?
Doing double duty. This old body's doing double duty.
Actually, that's a great card right there as well over
Yes.
there. And you're going up against
one of my students, El Magnifico.
Oh, okay. All right. And what are your thoughts going into this match?
You know what? It's teacher versus student. You know, I could say a lot of bad things about Magnifico, Shawn Donavan the character, but Shawn Donavan the person will always praise my students that put in the work, and El Magnifico is one of those that continuously puts in the work in training. Just because he's out there grinding on the independents, he does not take a step back from training. So sky's the limit for him. So very excited to step in the ring with one of my students and see what he can prove to me.
That's a good deal right there. All right. Next up, we have the open house coming up with a special guest, Anthony Bowens from, of course, AEW fame.
Correct. Yes. Anthony was a original OG of the Creative Pro School. You know, when I came to Creative Pro, he was already there for a couple of years. So one of my dear good friends, so happy for all of his success. And, you know, he wanted to be a part of this open house. So, you know, for anyone that is looking to, you know, get their foot in the door of the professional wrestling industry, you know, our New Jersey branch of our Creative Pro School that is owned by AEW Vice President of Talent, Pat Buck, and myself and the Ace of Space LSG are the assistant trainers for that school. As you can see on the graphic above, those are just some of the individuals that have come out of our school and have made it to some of the big companies.
That's awesome. That's good stuff. Like, not for nothing, but a lot of the Creative Pro students, whether it be Long Island, New Jersey, are all over, either on TV or United States or whatever, overseas.
There's one thing I will say about our Creative Pro crew, whether they are those that are, you know, on your TV screens or just out grinding on the independents. You know, I'm very happy to say that all of our students are taught the same mindset, which is go out, explore the world, get that experience. And each different place you work, you'll learn so much from working in front of different crowds. But that just goes to show the hustle and the passion that those that come out of our school have for this industry. So I'm very, very happy to be a part of their success, along with LSG, who's done a great job training the students.
Good stuff there, Creative Pro. All right. Then we have a Luck of the Draw coming up on April 3rd.
Those are our Thursday Wrestle Pro events that we hold. Nice intimate venue that continues to grow and grow from a fan base every single month, where we give a lot of our homegrown talent some additional reps, and we also bring in a lot of you know, current independent performers from around the East Coast and match them up against some of our guys, and you know, give our paying customers some great action on a Thursday night.
That's right. There's a CPA right there in the middle.
Unbelievable, that guy.
Such a great person. Adam Kirkland, maybe not so much, but I'm teasing.
I'll give CPA his props.
Another guy I know on this poster for a long time, man, is freaking Steve Gipke over there. Dark Steve over there.
Another one I can't stand.
He's going through a phase. But anyway, all right. Then we have Aftershock coming up, of course. Right. Tell me what's going on at Aftershock.
So this is a brand new organization that is bringing wrestling back to the Poughkeepsie, New York area. They just held their first event at the MJN Center, which is formerly known as the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. Many legendary events have taken place there. ECW has ran that building back in the day. WWE has ran Raw tapings in that building. And, you know, ACW did a great job on their first event. They have sold out that building with a couple of thousand people going rabid. Danny Moff and I were involved in a tables match on that event with the Now, and we get a rematch against them this time for the to become the first ever ACW Tag Team Champions, and we will be locked inside of a steel cage with those guys. So Yeah. You don't want to be locked inside of a cage with guys like Danny Moff and I because we're just wrecking animals. So really,
I was about to say, but two of you together, oh my God.
but we're really hoping that we get that same love from the fans and we sell out another event.
Good stuff as it is. All right. Bash at Boomtown coming up as well. Tell me about this event.
So another great event with a lot of talent on there. We've got some, again, different Creative Pro stars on there. Joe Clean, Vargas, who I'll be taking on. I really don't like Alex Raymond, but I'll give him his just due. We've got Vargas, one of my closest friends for 20 years, and Justin Carino. So a really great event in Boonton. Again, Vargas, another guy that I had a hand in training very early on when he was a part of a different school, which is where I came from. He made that transition to Creative Pro and completely did a 180 and reinvented himself. And that, what you see on that poster is what you get. He is a monster.
He is a monster, 100%. So is that Yusufer guy, man. Keep that guy away from me.
Yeah, he's a little interesting.
That freaking horn, oh my God. That's all I'm going to say.
It can get pretty annoying, but yeah.
All right, then we got War on the Shore 2 coming up Tuesday, July 15th.
There it is. Another one of my close friends, Dave Sturcio and Chris Payne, have started their own organization. This is the second event. If anyone is familiar with Martel's Tiki Bar, it is a very legendary bar and restaurant on the Jersey Shore, right on the water. We did a great job last time. The show was, literally sold out. Not just from people on the beach, who bought a ticket to watch, people all over the bars, people on the other side of the beach were watching, people were hanging over literally the walls watching. So we're going to do another event right on the water.
All right, awesome. Man, let's go back to the beginning. Let's talk about how you fell in love with wrestling.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for sharing the upcoming events. After 24 years, I am still very active. But
that's great. That's awesome.
But going back 24 years ago, it was, it was my love of wrestling as a kid. It all started watching it with my grandfather. He was the one that got me into it. Growing up as a full-blooded Italian, no pun intended to little Guido and the other guy from the FBI, but my family emigrated overseas, in the 1960s and started their own business. And my grandfather, he loved sports, but he just loved wrestling for some reason. And, the homegrown hero at that time in the 70s into the early 80s was Bruno Sammartino in the Northeast. He was the golden goose, so to speak. And, just watched it with my grandfather on TV one day when I think I was probably 5, maybe 6 years old. And I literally, every time it was on the TV after that, you wouldn't even see me playing with my toys. I was glued to that television, and I've been glued ever since. Never once took a break from watching it. And that's how I fell in love. But for some reason, I guess personalities differ, but I always gravitated towards the villains. So I guess it kind of shows in my work today, but yeah, that's how I fell in love with wrestling. I give all the thanks and praise to my grandfather.
Awesome. Now, who was your favorite villain of all time?
Wow. It's funny. As a kid growing up, I got a chance to watch in my area. It was mostly WWF, but I also got NWA as well. Which was very rare on certain, TV stations to be able to get that. But, when WWF was on my screen as a kid, for some reason, and I don't know why, but I gravitated towards guys like Ravishing Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, even Sergeant Slaughter, in the, during that massive late 80s, early 90s, heel run with Hogan. But they were great because I think I fell in love with the character aspect from those guys. Right. When it came to the NWA, it was less character based. It was more in-ring work and more realistic. I gravitated to the guys like Arn Anderson, the Midnight Express. And as I started getting older and started seeing Eastern Championship Wrestling on TV, and even though I had seen him in the in the NWA and a little bit in WWF. But when he hit ECW, for some reason, ever since then, he is the GOAT to me of wrestling. It's Terry Funk.
Terry Funk. Okay.
You know,
good stuff. So let's talk about where you went to go train.
Yeah.
And who were your trainers at the time when you first started the initial training?
Yeah, so it's funny you pulled up some of those posters for ISPW, and Tommy Fierro is a legendary promoter. I think he's coming up on 30 years in the business, if not already 30 years. But I got into the wrestling school I was training in actually through him. Young at the time, a few years older than me, he was running his own Fan Slam conventions at such a young age, bringing in multiple stars. And you know, it was through his conventions where he started running shows too, but it was through his conventions where I had seen a flyer for independent, you know, wrestling that I had already been going to. And there was a company, I think this was around 99, called IWF. And it was run by, it was a promotion that was run by AJ Sparks, who at the time had run various other independent promotions like New Jack City, and was owned by a local journeyman called Kevin Knight. And so I had started going to some of those shows, and I had seen that they were doing a one-day fantasy camp for those that were interested in pro wrestling. And, you know, growing up and going independent shows, you know, you always want to do it, but the thought never crosses your mind, is there a real way to actually do this?
Right.
And to see that they actually had a school, it was a bit far from me, but I decided to invest a few dollars in the fantasy camp. You know, at the time I was going to college. I was working 2 jobs trying to pay my way, so I wasn't rich by any means. And so I did the fantasy camp, and I think there was about 12 of us that partake in it. And the reason why I partook in it was because I was low on funds, but they had advertised that the winner of the fantasy camp that did the best would receive free training. So I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I guess from watching it for so long, I think your brain starts to pick up a few things. But as I know now, right, you know, sometimes people want to get involved in the industry and they take that first fall on the mat and they either realize this is not for me, or it just becomes a drug. And I took that first bump and it was a drug, and I just gave it my all. But you know, at the end, you know, they announced the winner, and I was not the winner. But AJ Sparks came up to me and he said, you know, I'm sorry you didn't win, but, you know, myself and Kevin felt that out of everybody else there, you were the runner-up. He goes, I can't offer you free training, but if you like, I can offer you half on the training part. And I didn't even bat an eye. I cut him a check for a deposit. I don't even think I had enough money in my account to clear it, but thank God, back then you had a couple of days to get money in that account.
Right.
And luckily it didn't bounce, but that was my introduction to pro wrestling. My early trainers were again that local journeyman Kevin Knight, who was a great trainer when it came to basics. Local independent legend Biggie Biggs, who has still been a mentor to me to this day. He's kind of what I call my wrestling father, because he helped me a lot in a lot of ways that other people wouldn't. And you know, the business was very, very different back then. But at the time too, at the school, Simon Diamond was training students there a little bit because he was preparing his then significant other Dawn Marie for a WWE run. So I got to learn a little bit from him, and was very fortunate early on to have Dr. Tom Pritchard come to our school on a very consistent basis, because at the time he was the head of development talent for WWE at the time. So he did consistent seminars with us every couple of months. And luckily, again, to be New Jersey natives, you know, I was lucky enough to be trained a lot in my early days by Chris Candido and Balls Mahoney. So I am very, very fortunate that I got the knowledge that I did from those individuals who had been at the top
Right.
I wanted to go. So that was my early training at that school. It was 4 days a week, twice on Sundays. I would partake in the beginner and the advanced class. And like they say, the more consistent reps you get, the faster you'll get better. So that was my training.
That's awesome. That's good training, man. All right. What was the best advice someone ever gave you in the business?
So the best advice that was given to me very early on, and it still sticks with me to this day, is some advice from Chris Candido. He would talk to a lot of us. He would come up to the school, get in the ring with us, and then he would just sit around for hours and just talk to us. And you would just, listen. And a lot of times he would say a lot of different things, but he would always say to a lot of us who are young, he would say, the stuff I'm telling you right now, you're not going to understand it. But at some point, whether you're in the ring during a match, in a car, in the gym, watching tape, the light bulb is going to go off. Mm-hmm. But the biggest piece of advice that he always gave me that stuck with me to this day is don't take yourself seriously. Take what you do in the ring seriously. And that has stuck with me ever since in terms of character development, character, evolution, right. And just, trying different things to see what sticks and not staying comfortable, but taking what we do in the ring very seriously, meaning your fundamentals, your basics, all the things that if you were put in front of a talent scout, can they poke holes in your game? And if they can't, that means you're doing something really, really good.
That's awesome. Is that the advice you give your students now? That same advice that Chris gave you?
Yes, I do. That is one of the biggest pieces of advice that I give my students. I am very blessed to be able to pass down that knowledge from the guys that taught me, because I was always taught by my family very early on in life. There's the quote, leave something better than the way you found it. So my goal in this industry is to leave things and leave people better than the way that I came in. And hopefully with my experience and my knowledge and loving to train students now, that I can continue making this industry better.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Your students are very lucky. All right. Serena says, if you could have wrestled one wrestler from WWF and NWA back then, who would you pick?
That is a very easy answer, but it's an awesome question. I mentioned his name earlier. It would be Terry Funk.
Terry Funk. All right. Good stuff. Toughest opponent you've had to date?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Toughest opponent you've had to date. Why was it so tough wrestling this wrestler? It doesn't have to be they were difficult. I mean, just saying, what particular style match?
I would have to say the co-trainer of Creative Pro New Jersey, LSG. He and I have had a long-standing feud that spans all the way back to just before the beginning of COVID. And we have feuded for the last 5 years. We've battled all across New Jersey, all across different states. And when WrestlePro started doing shows in Alaska, LSG and I had a series of different style matches out there. They were tough from a physical standpoint. They were tough from a psychological standpoint. But they were also tough physically because LSG and I are very snug workers, and we like to, we like to lay it in a little bit. But we did a series of, we started off with a dog collar match that then went into a Singapore cane match that then went into a last man standing match. So we had a trilogy of 3 really brutal matches. But I'm very proud of the art of what we created in those matches. And we gave the fans each time we came back something completely different.
Awesome. What was that experience like wrestling in Alaska? Because I believe you guys were the first to do it.
Yes. Well, actually, from an independent standpoint, yes. But back in the early 90s, the WWF actually ran a house show at the, I believe it was the Sullivan Arena, which is what it's called still. They did run an event there in the early 90s. And it was really cool because the second WrestlePro Alaska show that was held in that building, one of our special guests was Bret Hart, who wrestled on that event. So that was pretty cool, but really different because fans don't get wrestling out there. And it was very interesting to get to meet fans, and they watch it on TV, but prior to when we came there, no one had seen live pro wrestling there. So very cool to bring something different. A very unique experience to be sitting around at 10 p.m. at night and it's still daylight. So a little interesting from a reality standpoint, but nonetheless, amazing times. Can't wait till we announce the next one to go back again.
Awesome. I bet it was confusing. 10 o'clock at night, you're like, why is it still bright out?
Yeah, and then it's 9 a.m. in the morning and it's still dark. It's like Bizarro world.
That's crazy. All right, we're gonna jump out of wrestling for a moment. What does Shawn like to do for fun? Do you have any hobbies? TV, movies?
Yeah, so I was never, even in my younger days, I was never a club guy. I was never a bar guy, so to speak. But I'm a homebody. I do love to go out as far as hobbies go. I love to travel. To me, when I travel on a vacation, I love going overseas. I've been to multiple different countries to explore because one of my my minor in college was history. I absolutely love history. So I love being able to visit these countries and being able to see the history of what was, and visiting different museums. But when I'm home, my hobbies are I love listening to music. I thank my parents for giving me that love of music. And I love music of all different genres, all different decades. 70s and 80s will always be my favorite, with the 90s being a close second.
Right.
It's just I'm dating myself when I was born, but
I'm the same way.
But I love watching TV shows, but really I just like to relax. I love sitting outside, smoking a cigar, having a drink, letting my dog run around the yard. To me, that is rich for me. So those are my hobbies. But just also just love exploring and doing different things with my girlfriend. So those are my hobbies when I am able to take a break from thinking or watching pro wrestling.
It's hard because just like yourself, even though I'm a podcast, I watch wrestling all the time. It's like,
yeah, I do too. It's funny.
Not a lot of free time.
No, I mean, in order to be as good as you want to be in any industry, and I say this with pro wrestling, right? You have to eat, sleep, breathe, and you know what those other two words are about pro wrestling. I mean, it has to be. It's a positive. To me, I've always said to our students, it's a positive sickness. That's just how it is. If you want to be that good, you have to study it 24/7, 365.
Right. Now I got to ask you, since Anthony Bowens is part of your school, do you have his figure?
Of course I do. And the last time he visited, I made sure that I brought it with me. I had him sign it. So it is part of my collection. Yes, I am a very big collector. But my collection for wrestling my span of collecting for wrestling really centers around my childhood, because it's what made me fall in love with it. So a lot of my collection are the things that the guys that made me love wrestling is what it's about. But really awesome to have Anthony Bowens on my wall with his signature on it is pretty cool to see one of my friends have a real life action figure. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. I'm waiting for Statlander to come out here so she can sign my figure.
Yep, there you go.
I met her when she was just a valet. Like, I would just go to the local shows, and she's a valet. And now look at her.
So when I was working out in Long Island for my real work, every now and then I would pop by the Creative Pro New York School to train with the crew there, and I was able to get in the ring with Statlander early on. And what an athlete! You could just tell the girl had it. There was just nothing she couldn't do. But just our whole Creative Pro family as a whole, I am very, very happy for everybody, because all the ones that have made it and all the ones that are coming up have all done what you need to do in this industry. You have to put in the work. You have to do the drives. You have to go everywhere. And I'm so proud of those three letters.
It's not an easy life. I just saw Chelsea Green post about the life schedule that she had, and then a couple of the independents started chiming in, and it's a tough life for you guys. It really is.
It very, very much is. I mean, I can tell you early on, I mean, my school was an hour away from where I lived, and it was in North Jersey. And, a lot of times, most weekends for me were spent traveling with other guys that, were at our school or other places. And, the beauty of the Northeast is that, I think within like a 7 or 8 hour drive, you can get to like 7 different states. Just because of where we're centered, and New Jersey is such a small state.
Right.
I would get to our school on a Friday, jump in a car with a crew of guys, and we would go work for example, Chaotic Wrestling up in Massachusetts. We wouldn't get back till like 3 a.m. And what's the sense of me going all the way home? I would just sleep in my car in the parking lot of our school, waiting for the next crew to get there on Saturday. And then we would go in the opposite direction. We would go to Pennsylvania, we go to Delaware and work shows. And that was literally every weekend for the first, I want to say 5 or 6 years of my career. But looking back on it, I would not have had it any other way. I would do it over again in a heartbeat, because the people that I got to ride with, the experiences on the road, things that can go wrong, that's how you learn.
Yep.
So it is not an easy life if you want to do this at a very, very high level.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Favorite food. What's your favorite food?
Hands down, pizza.
Pizza. All right. New Jersey pizza.
Yep, that's it.
I had New Jersey pizza.
You know what? I love New York pizza too. I do. Living in Brooklyn for a number of years, I was a frequent at Spumoni Gardens, at Grimaldi's. But there is no pizza like Northeast pizza. I will eat it hot, cold, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Man, I was at Beachcombers. I had a slice of pizza. That thing was like 2 slices in one.
Yeah, if you go down to the Jersey Shore, you have the oversized slices of pizza on the boardwalk.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was like, what the? I was on the boardwalk. I'm like, man, this is really. I ordered 2. I thought they were regular size slices. I'm like, it's like half a pie right here.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Definitely my favorite food of all time. Always will be.
Good stuff. All right. Well, what has been the best arena, or the arena that holds the best memories for you?
So going to watch wrestling, I mean, growing up in New Jersey, it was the what I always call it as the Meadowlands. It was then known as it was the Brendan Byrne Arena, then it was the Continental Airlines Arena, then it was the Izod Center. It's still standing. I don't know why they don't hold events there still, but growing up so close to it, very fortunate, and also being only a 30-minute train ride from Madison Square Garden. Both places, I mean, Madison Square Garden is the mecca of professional wrestling, but the amount of live events and Raw tapings and pay-per-views that I had gone to between the Meadowlands and Madison Square Garden is just, the memories are incredible for me. But I would venture to say more so the Meadowlands because they actually had a parking lot. And if you went around to the back, I mean, yes, they had the gates up and all that, but my parents would take me and they would get there early and we would watch all the wrestlers get in and then we would watch them leave.
Oh, man.
When you're a young kid like that and you are influenced by these individuals and you see them walk by you, they are legitimately larger than life. And, he's a mythical figure in our industry, but to be able to see this man walk right by me, Andre the Giant, is just
amazing.
It just blows my mind to a point where I get goosebumps now. Just, I'm a kid that's 7 or 8 years old and I'm watching this giant of a man just walk by me. And I can't believe just how massive this man is.
Man,
so
I used to do the same thing out here in Nassau Coliseum when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, it was but all those guys, they looked so deceivingly small on TV, but then you see guys like George the Animal Steel, Demolition, all Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I mean, these guys are massive, and I said early on, that's why as a kid you don't think I don't have a shot to do this. I'm nowhere near as big as these guys, but independent wrestling proved to me that you can be average size and still be able to make it. You just got to have that it factor.
Dude, charisma. That's what
That's
it is.
it.
You have to have that charisma.
Charisma, personality, and a connection with the audience.
100%. As far as the students you're training, I don't want to put you on the spot, though. We'll talk about it after.
No, please throw it out there. I love being thrown on the spot.
All right. Who do you see has, besides the ones that already graduated, you see, man, this person has real good charisma?
Mm-hmm.
Who is that person?
Yeah, there's a couple of them that have come out of our school, and I talk about the ones out of our New Jersey school right now. Guys like GKM. I know he's on the shelf for a little bit with an injury, but top to bottom, it's funny. I joke around with a lot of the guys, and he is the new age Anthony Bowens at our school. In terms of just he gets it, everything. He is putting in the work outside on his body. He is putting in the work traveling across the independents. He is somebody that I see a very, very large upside that will be in bigger places in a very short time. Another gentleman I just spoke about, El Magnifico, what he makes, what he lacks in terms of size, he more than makes up for in his charisma, his personality. He's still finding himself, but he's already got something there. We have some other guys that are coming up, in our school. You mentioned them earlier. You have guys like Adam Kirkland. You have LSG's younger brother, MSG. And another guy that I do see a huge upside that I know will be in someplace big in the next couple of years is Colton Charles. The guy's just got raw power. He's about 6'2", 6'3", just a brick house who gets it. And he's got a connection with the audience that you can't manufacture. It's just so organic, and the fans just draw to him. So those are just a few of the guys that I know right now. If they continue on the path that they're going on, they will be in someplace big at a certain point.
I'm gonna throw a name out here from Long Island. Bobby Orlando, a lot of charisma.
Oh my God, that kid is. I don't call him kid, but he's an adult. But yes, a lot of charisma, a lot of personality, a lot of creativity when it comes to his social media and putting his persona out there. But yeah, Bobby Orlando's got it. So happy for. I like to call him my son sometimes, but Bryce Donovan. Being ID'd by WWE, awesome. Another great guy that is going to do some big things in this industry.
I'm so happy for Bryce too, man.
Very happy. Very happy. All those guys, man. You all saw something when they were all the Shook Crew. You all saw exactly them individually something, but when you put them all together, they had something intangible there as well.
That magic there.
Yep, 100%.
Yes, Bobby's promos are hysterical. Man, I remember like 8 years I've been doing this. And I remember when they first came on, like I first met them and I'm like, wow. From then till now, I'm like,
yeah,
that's like amazing, right? You probably get the same way.
Yeah, it's very awesome to watch the growth and the development of guys like Bobby, guys like, Bryce, and even seeing what Caster is doing on AEW right now in a singles role, really exploring that personality is really cool to see.
Awesome. Good stuff indeed. All right. Man, we went through a lot today. It's a lot to process.
Yeah,
and, right. I like talking to you, like there's not that many people I hang off their every word. Even though I've interviewed some people here and there that, whatever, like Bob Orton. But like I can literally say I was hanging off every one of your words today.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I always say, there's thousands of pro wrestlers out there, and if somebody wants to, speak to me and learn a little bit about me, I'm very humbled by that. But it's funny, you talk about a guy like Bob Orton, another guy that I have studied a lot of his work because he was such a unique in-ring performer. He was so creative in the way that he did things, the way that he moved. Just a tremendous underrated talent. When you talk about top performers in the 80s, Bob Orton cannot be left out of that conversation.
No way. And standing next to him and talking to him, I was like, I'm sitting here talking about Bob Orton right now. One of the guys I grew up with watching. You know what I'm saying?
Sweetheart of a man, just an absolute sweetheart of a man.
Awesome stuff. And he's a trainer too at SICW Wrestling.
Yep. That I do know.
It's awesome. Yeah. All right, Shawn, thank you for a moment of your time. Let everybody know where they can follow you. And actually, what's some immediate goals you want for 2025?
Well, I want to stay healthy. My goals are to continue, training my students at Creative Pro along with LSG and some of our friends that like to pop in and lend their knowledge. My goal is to help continue to grow, our school, continue to grow our events to a larger fan base. But when it comes to the in-ring, I'm kind of not stepping away, but I'm scaling back on the singles wrestling because, my tag team partner, Danny Moff, and I really want to set out to really finish our careers in tag team wrestling because it's how we both started. But we had started this journey in 2018, 2019. Things got halted due to his signing with Ring of Honor and then the unfortunate world shutting down. But now that we're back to normal, we've made that decision that we really want to go full force with this and really, really show that tag team wrestling can still be an incredible art. Because we both have a lot left in the tank and we both have a lot left to give in this industry. So, really trying to see what we can do and what kind of noise we can continue making for the rest of the year and beyond. So thank you for asking that. As far as where individuals can find me, I'm on Instagram at Shawn Donavan 01. I am on Facebook as just Shawn Donavan. Those are the two main platforms that I use. I have a TikTok account. I don't really use it. I probably should. Don't really do much with Snapchat. I don't even know if that's really a thing anymore. I'm on X, Twitter at Shawn Donavan 01, but I've gotten away from that platform because just honestly speaking, it's a very toxic platform. I'd rather stay away from the toxicity of the world. So for the most part, anyone who wants to follow me or interact with me, shoot me a message, whatnot on Instagram or on Facebook.
100%. Of course, if you want to train, there's an open house coming up.
Yep.
April 7th.
Yeah. If you'd like to know more, you can visit our Instagram page is Creative Pro NJ. But also our website is creativeProNJ.com for more information on our school. Stop by our open house, check out how we train our students. And if anybody has an interest in wanting to be a professional wrestler, that's your time to come by, speak to myself, speak to Anthony Bowen, speak to LSG, speak to Pat Buck. We'll be more than happy to give you all the information that you need to get your career started in the world of professional wrestling.
All right. Serena and I both thank you, Shawn, for coming on the podcast tonight.
Yes.
Thank you. As for me, what do I got going on? This week I have from OVW coming on this Friday night. That's one. My latest vlog is up on my YouTube. I'm talking to Nixon Newell, aka Tegan Knox. And I had the unfortunate pleasure of hanging out with the cause of it all, Joey Conway, right there. That guy's nuts. But that's up now on my vlog. This Saturday I'll be at NYWC's Aftermath right here in Long Island, New York, as Slimeball State Chance of the NWA takes on Jorge La Bestia for the NYWC Fusion Championship. Get your tickets. WrestleCon's coming up, and my friend at DNS Wrestling Collectibles got some great talent there. He's got Julie Hart with him, Mandy Sachs, Ash by Elegance, Danny Stratos, and Nadia White at his table. So go to DNS Wrestling Collectibles and hit him up for some mail-ins. And if you're looking for female talent, she's a little psychotic, Shawn, but she's good. Amity LaVey right there is accepting bookings for 2025.
Fantastic.
Woo, scary lady. And speaking of Bob Orton and all that, I'm going back to St. Louis, Missouri for SICW Fan Fest 3 coming up. We got the Bill Apter show, the Fan Fest itself, the St. Louis Hall of Fame, which was my favorite last year, and of course the SICW show featuring the Bruiser Brody Memorial, and the winner of that will get the cup from Barbara Goodish, Bruiser's widow. Whew, that's a lot to say, Sean.
Talk
Sean,
about a legendary talent that never got his just due.
Bruiser Boy, yeah, and that fan fest is all, like you said, 80s and 70s and 60s stars.
Amazing.
So great stuff going on there. Check out sicw.org for more details on that. Sean, hold on for a minute. Everybody else, have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.